Kaya yung sa tinil te katyuhan gonna cheese plain sheet ka kwan we yaw ko ik tlachonach wuk okay chat wutien as tu inye jechonein ayat se kanak kakakashat shabot kuwakan kat tu ish ka kuch kla wasa has tu laan wasa has tu letzin ya yagi ya Hakkewo sa data we ate yukakaktusha ati ya yata yan has ausane achyan to ati ya hatta chankisani has to ya ʼáak adat haya guksatak ha iti kaku kageyi yes ha yatatsu. So we had a question about like sort of thinking about the future and the past and how, like our kind of role. And so I got a number of things that I thought about here. Did I write this one down already? Oh yeah, I did, okay. So going through, we had sort of talked about this one, which is Yan Hasausane Achyantu Adiya. They've already prepared the path for us. They is a third person. It's slightly ambiguous in this phrase, but it refers to our ancestors. We're going to take care of the place reserved for our grandchildren. And so I was trying to think of like the question posed here was a thought about like looking forward, looking backwards, or looking to the past and looking to the future, and thinking about our current roles right now. And so one of the things that I was thinking about is those two phrases. And then here's a few others that sort of popped up, two about, well, I guess one about the future, one about the future generations, one about the ancestors, and one about us. So what is this one saying? I get this one from Kayaaní Nora Dowenhauer. And any parts of it you recognize, let me know.
Our large crew four?
Four, we've got the four part, the hour part. So let's go hour, four. There's a couple other pieces in there though. Itiqaku.
Our descendants.
Yes. Is that an A? And then the kageyis makes it for the benefit. So here, you just do some word order things for the benefit of our descendants. So that's what the kageyis would make it for their benefit. And especially it seems to work well for sort of slightly immeasurable things. So it's not so much like we're giving them this thing or that thing. It's like a bit more of a philosophical. And what about this one? Cannot take the literal approach with this one.
The sonnet is we are going to do, or
Yes.
what's going to happen to us?
Yes.
No, we're going to do.
So we do have that.
Is Kaya like it or something? Or...
Yes. So just like it. So there's the literal approach. right? Anybody know what this phrase? So like we were thinking of dance group names, and I said this phrase to Nora, and she said, "Yes, yes, that's what we're gonna do." She got really excited. And so this is this is one of those phrases like in English, like if you there's a whole bunch of phrases in English like this, like kick the bucket, was it roll around in the hay? You know, there's a bunch of
Or is
things where
it
it's
like
like,
Nike, just do it?
well, a little bit more ambiguous, where it's like you say that if like a second language learner came and they'd be like, what? They rolled in the hay? What? Why is everybody so upset about it, right? And so, you know, but in this case, it means
Mm.
and there was actually a big. I'll spill the tea a little bit here. So somebody was really like kind of going on social media a few years ago saying, why do we say we're imitating our ancestors? We are our ancestors, rah, right? And so I chimed in and I just said, well, this phrase actually comes from the Tlingit language. So this is an important phrase, and I don't want us to forget that this is something we say. And I'll share the reasons why I think we say it is because, one, we're not always trying to just be original. We're trying to somehow emulate the masters. Like this is the way we do it with our artworks, the way we do it with our language. Is Tlingit, I think, as a culture, doesn't see itself in a continuous state of improvement and doesn't see itself as going. I feel like imitating ancestors is something that's honoring them, and like you're trying to achieve something. They knew so much stuff, right? And we don't know as much stuff as they do, and that's sort of a generalization of the approach. Whereas I think a lot of cultures who came here and colonized these lands think about it as like we're always getting better. And so if we try to imitate someone from the past, we're becoming more primitive, right? And so for us, but I also think it's a bit of humility to be like, I'm going to do great things by trying to be great people instead of just thinking of myself, right? And it also just sort of gives credit to people who help build a foundation that we're putting a house on. So it's a really important phrase, but it's also it's one I think that's interesting because it's loaded with cultural knowledge, because it's one of those things like you just got to know it to know it, right? But that doesn't mean you can't know it. But just Kayaaní, it's an important phrase.
Yeah.
Okay. Haji yeswututlayech hayuk ʼatánk.
For our benefit, they made our language.
Yes, it was made. Our language was made for us. And then so you could say stuff like this too. Hajit would do a T. It's a very short, also very ambiguous phrase, right? But I think something like this could work as well. What do we get from this one? Hajit would do a T. Throw it away in there if you want to.
Like it was given to us, and we will give it to them. Is that?
Mm-hmm. So you can use things like that too that are very ambiguous. You could name the thing if you wanted to. You could name who they are. So yeah, there's a number of different concepts that you could sort of use for something like this, for like a 50th anniversary of an entity and thinking about the ways we function and the ways that we sort of do things, especially if we're looking at the language and the culture as sort of like the thing.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other thoughts or questions?
Good piece, lots to ponder.
Yeah, there's always, whenever we get into these sort of translation sort of exercises, like that stuff gets really fun because there's lots, and then in Tlingit it gets long fast. It doesn't take long for it to become a long thing. Before long it gets long. So yeah, okay. Okay. Any other language thoughts or questions? Things you've been pondering? Okay. Okay. Well, I had fun with the word of the week thing we did last time. So I thought we'd try that a little bit more. And then we'll go back into our conjugations. We only have 3 classes left. How did that happen? What do you guys want to do for your fun? Closing speeches, presentations. I've been a walking disaster this semester, so thanks for bearing with me.
I don't know, I think that, well, I'm saying for me, but a lot of us have done a lot of different presentations throughout this, this semester. And maybe we could just share or acknowledge one that you know what I mean? Because we haven't.
What if you think of something you did and you make it just bigger?
Yeah.
And just sort of like, especially something early on, like think of something early on that you tried to do, and now you're gonna do the big version of it. Like when that octopus turns giant again, you're gonna do the Kustinak version. Skydu, you had your hand up. What's up?
I thought it would just be really cool if we like picked a story from our lives or something and like created it.
That sounds great. Okay.
Mhm.
So let's do just open sharing. It's going to be 2 weeks from today. So you have some options. Yeah, if you have a story that you'd like to translate, if you have something that you did before for another class that you think you want to do, like now this is the final version of it. But don't just take something and do the same thing. Like I would want to see, like, I don't have to see it, but I just want to know that there's been significant growth. Like, oh, I tried to do this thing, but I just had no idea how. So now I'll do it for ʼáak. Okay. Okay, that sounds good. And everybody's awesome. Everybody does awesome. So,
Kone,
huh.
I've been working on something for a long time, and it's Rosita Whirl's herring speech that she gave before COVID.
Oh,
And
wow.
I asked her to if I could give it back then, and then COVID hit. And I worked on that. I've got it about 2/3 to 3/4 done. And I could work on that to give for final, even though I don't take final because I'm not in your class technically.
Everybody's in the
degree.
class.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. So yeah,
Uh,
bring out your big things.
well, the reason I want to do it is because I was going to do it this time, and I thought, oh boy, but then I got sick again, so I could give it at class. It's her words in English. Kayaaní.
Oh,
Only I translated to Tlingit for her.
that sounds fabulous. So yes, Whatever you want to do, folks, bring out your monumental things. It's going to be, because then we go into summertime, and some of you will probably be back in the fall. Some of you might not. So we never know. Okay. Goodness, sheesh. Okay. Thoughts, questions, anything else? ʼáak.
Goodness, geez. Wooch gooch ku'u. You talked about wolf pack. So in the chat, there's this sentence I had copied from Nakilan Setan. Plate dak satani. Kadlek gidi kuahai. Chatlenek teyi gooch. Shugwakik. Wooch gooch ku'u. Adeseguk. Sitikua.
Okay. Plate dog satani. What is, okay, you puzzle solvers, what's plate dog satani?
It's a conditional thing about something when this thing happens. But I bet everybody remembers late.
Probably not. It's late spring. Everybody's just don't want to think about it, forget it. Plate dog satani.
Well, if it's conditional, wouldn't it be when it snows?
Kadlate qidi kuahai.
And there's a, when it snows a lot. It's a
Yeah.
snowstorm.
When there's a snowstorm. Atlainach ti qutshuk quahih.
That lovely Tlenak to mean to all alone. The wolf that's all alone.
Yeah. A lone wolf gonna die. Shukwahi. It's gonna meet its end. Wuch quch ku at the seguch sitiqa. A wolf pack.
A wolf together. Wolf
It's gonna be
together.
alive. Tesegu. So tesegu is breath or life. Okay. It's cheese. So wuch quch ku. That's what we're getting for wolf pack. Okay. It's cheese. Let's see. Thanks for sharing that. Okay.
When you say wooch, gooch, ku'u, are you talking about people or wolves?
Wolves.
But could it be used for in other ways?
Yeah, well, I'll have to see. I meant to do that over the weekend in Sitka, but I forgot. But we did get a word for pickle though. Might have been the weekend before.
Oh, like pickle yolk?
Yeah, like how to pickle something. I think it was oh, now it's in my notes. Hold on. Go find my pickle It's in the pickle papers. Let's see. Got a few things, but I do think some of these were phrases for that the intermediate class was asking for. We'll look at them. What did I have? Okay, it's not in those notes. It's just my grocery list. Okay, I'll have to find it. Okay, we'll find it later. It was kashetziku hin tin yudutzni. For now, this is how we ended up with a wolf pack. So here's our goal is, let's see. Gotta look at the participants. So we need to go in a certain order so that there's no super duper long pauses. So the order will be Satuk, Elias, Gachansan, Jidwu, Kaskatin, Kashuk, for short. Kashuk, if you go to cake, it gotta become Kashik. Shanaqait, Skydeu, ʼáak, Kusin, Huanchain, Ilkaku. Anybody I miss? Okay, there's our order. So I'm going to show you a picture. I'm going to stay in Tlingit, and each of you will come up with one single sentence regarding that picture. After everyone has created one single sentence, we'll go through 5 different sentences that were given to us from elders, and we will read them and translate them. Any questions before we start?
Am I first?
Satuk.
Goodness, sheesh.
And then we are lowering the cone of English silence, so we don't need English anymore. Chikachtu na kawe wait let kaya katangi just lingit khina khaya kadachtu a'ak the katyuhan kleg a wuch itchu ʼatánk achtu wasugu khwa a'ak X'éig. Gwalchaye gukin kitlasachtu waj guchashugu at aya X'éidach gwalchakut ku'u deye yawaka. Hilwasak watikwa chawasa. Aqa awe ya hastu yuk atangi hayan waj X'éidach gachtu tu. Kakagachtu nik tu. Gled hak inach ade. Jawega hilwasak watik gled hak inach. Ja, je dat we je haai echt was go yisatini. Kijk which it ʼatánk is eich. Ja, do a. Ja. Satuk.
Achtuasigu. Yow.
Oh, you okay. Elias.
Keen de Yanagut Yao.
Cheesh. Gach an san.
Yao Dana Yachiti.
Cheesh. Chitwu.
Unachawe ach Kate, Yitke, Wegao, Wayao. Sorry.
Kaskateen. Oh, which is ʼáak was ʼáak. Ugursa ʼáak. Kashuk kawadai
Heidla di itinach weyao.
Shanaqait. Oh, mute kachieti.
Ton, saw, ʼáak, wayao.
Sheesh. Sky de u.
At kuha yao utusinechi.
Sheesh. ʼáak.
ʼáak, yao.
Sheesh. Kusin.
Uksa weyao.
Juan Klein.
Ach, eat yan uaha we yao.
Sheesh. Ilkagu.
Ka hau sene we yao.
Sheesh. Shit kach tuach. Yao kach ai del. Yan ai del. Yao ach tuati. Take the hin koa San Francisco echat wuti. Yao dark satan. Eka. Atisaka kwatu. Somebody read it.
Tis yao kusti deslin.
Sheesh. Like kachinacho adasa.
There are no herring in Teslin.
Yeah, okay.
Anach awe. Yage we yao.
Sheesh.
There are a lot of herring.
Yeah, they're really plentiful. There's really lots. I always wonder if you guys read them first and then decide whether or not to read them. Not accusing anyone of that, but I just wonder.
Totally, we do.
But then you wait too long and you get a hard one. No.
This is a hard one, so I'll just ʼatánk salk ach dultóow yao.
Sheesh.
Okay.
Suck might be something we don't see a whole lot of.
But I've heard of it, and I just can't think of what it is.
Somebody tell me what the suck is doing there.
Future.
Future. It's to be.
It's an adjective, isn't it?
Yep. So it's going to be ʼatánk. It's complicated. This is a complicated little sentence. I'll give it that. What about ʼatánk?
The future lives of the herring. The future.
What is ʼatánk? How do we translate that? So we get future.
There people make herring.
You would have make, but when you have ʼatánk in front of it, it means to use it. So yao will be used to become something.
Medicine.
That leaves us with ʼatínaku.
Medicine.
It's a good guess, but you wouldn't have the underline on the G.
No.
And this is probably a word that we don't use a whole lot, but we should start using again, I think.
Is this the short form of like cover?
No, because it'd be ʼaatánk, or
Is
there's
it
like six variations of it.
bait?
Yes.
Oh,
Herring are used for bait. That's how you would translate it. But there's a whole, it's one of those things where like, yeah, that's how you translate it. There's a lot going on there. People use herring, they will become bait. It's sort of like, that's just how he said it. He was a very fancy speaker. Like he would always say, like, so was Marge. Like even just working with him was such an incredible benefit. Like I can speak Tlingit now because of those two did so much to help. But yeah, I'd ask them things and they'd just give me these very complicated sentences like, what? Okay, I got it recorded. I'll go get some headaches about it later. But yeah.
Oh, but that's so beautiful because in the dictionary, it's baiting. I'm putting it together.
Mm-hmm. Because it's a verb as well.
The verb, anything you use for bait is the same thing that you put on your hook for the halibut, which is what Yale ate. Thank you.
And it probably ties back to the octopus as well.
Yeah.
And Renee, what's the suck doing in there? Or is it, do you know, or?
Yeah, so I would say people use herring to become bait. Like, because it's probably some very technical thing, like it's not bait, but then once you put it on a hook and put it in the water, then it is bait. So they use herring for bait. And then the for part means it's going to become it, which is, it's wild, because it encodes all of that stuff using like tiny little words, saying people use herring to become bait. Because you could, this is saying something very similar. And I don't know how this one works. I did hear him say it, but I still don't know how it works. I don't know why it's Dísi. I'll just say that. So I'm gonna read it and then we'll go through it.
X'éig, Dísi, ʼatánk.
We only made it to Wednesday before we got scrambled, and we're still scrambled on Thursday.
X'éig is the fishing with the pole. With
Or
a pole.
It's just fishing generally. It really means hook.
Okay.
So ʼéig is a hook. So x'éig literally means they're hooking. Like fish.
Would it be JSE like working the hook? The herring?
Yeah, like
people are working the hook.
I'm trying to write it to the recording, but I would just write it like this, normal. So then it's like fishing for people use, yeah.
In English, as a small child, I was okay at jigging for herring. You bob a hook in the water to catch herring that was then used for salmon fishing bait.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I think that's close to what this phrase is. So
Right.
my New England father said jigging
Yeah.
for herring.
Okay. You can jig for it. So herring are used for fishing. We gotta get to Friday. Oh man, Friday didn't get any. Week didn't get easier. Cook na too.
Slash Zantakehinik Ua Ya Yao.
Sheesh.
No herring and Santa Kayaaní?
Yes. And what does the ooh-ah thing do in there?
Anymore?
That's a really good prediction. Yes. It is slightly different though.
Did they run?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh, at.
So let me see if I can. Let me go see if I can find it. Oops. Oops. Mm. I don't know if
Run? No
it
herring.
is a
moving?
fish run. Yeah. Where is that verb though? Huh.
That OO is the negative, and sometimes it would have just been a U,
Yeah.
but it would just a U wouldn't work with you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for fish to run, for fish to migrate. And then it might be combining with something. Let's see if I can find it. Is it number 4? Yeah, there's a yeah. So that's what happens. Is we see it ah. So yeah, there's something going on here where it's gobbling up the. It probably has to do with a negative repetitive imperfective or something. I don't know. But so we always run into these interesting things, which is over the weekend, well, on Friday when we went to visit X'éig, his instructions were, the books get you started, but you need to sound like a Tlingit speaker. So that's our mission. That's what he said. So I'm sharing that. Satuk.
Kunach. Gao. Like, ʼáak yanu ha gao, we gao, gao.
Sheesh. Elias.
Gach. Ga gach. Akish Tatke.
Okay. Gach an san.
Ach tuasigu gach.
Jeez. Eat wo.
Um, well, let's just say, Kate, gach.
Jeez. Cascatine, okay.
Ach, tuasiku gach. Kunach.
Jeez. Kashuk kawadai.
Zant Kayaaní gach ʼatánk.
Shenaqait. Skaida
Gau kach kuchsati.
ʼatánk.
Atsagahayi, ʼáak, ʼaak Bay, Sandy Beach, Ishan.
Yeah. Cuisine.
Um, ach, atcha, okay. Not, let me see. I'm trying to think of something different. Somebody took my sentence already. Sorry. Um, oh, let me see. Tukane, ʼaak gach.
Okay. Jeez. Juan Lane.
Konalchish. Yahaye we gau. Yak. Gau kwat kade. We. Ach itian uahawe gau kwe sheet ka. Juan. Gau dak wusitan.
Okay. Yelkaku.
Ya hak ite. Tlech gach. Ach chi.
Jideka kwasain. Kecha gulchish. Wasa tlechas ushqaiq shit kakwan. A joey atlain ku has jich. Has jichas ati. Waqaw. Gwell dachadu shu tak shu hi hin. Kutan awe celebration qone yabdutzehi. Aqawe atlain ku wushas wudustini. Wushas awas. Wushas wudzatini. Waqaw. Ye awe chasatin. We yanwat. De slindach. Shutin yudusagan. Ho awe chasatin. Aqawe chasakur lingit daw shuguk. Achchawe awe yachsaka. Ha yak shutin yak echachsatini gulchish. Ho qa'a. Atu so we wa. Khane ayachat. Yachsaku. Ho qa'a. Qawq ke ijiwu. Ijideka qasain. Eqar lingit. Wushu khatutli atki at. Yata koa. Atisakakwatu.
Ajik e nafsi ya gaho.
Jeez.
The herring eggs are coming to our hands,
Wait,
into our possession.
it's a little bit more though. What does this part do?
Like getting strong.
Kenatsin.
Scene, just like in your chant.
Yeah, but this is kenatzi. It's different than strong. We usually don't see it in a progressive though. Anybody know what this would look like in the imperfecta?
Jacuzzi.
The Z.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we see all the parts out of there. The K comes off, the N comes off, the L goes to a Sh. What does Z mean?
Difficult.
Yeah, so what might we interpret this now?
It's getting difficult.
What is getting difficult? Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. To get herring in our possession.
It's getting difficult for us to get herring eggs. So this is really interesting, so when you say haji kenalzi, it's getting difficult for us. But then with the ʼáak, you don't need to attach a verb to that to have that interpretation there. But this could be all kinds of things. Haji kenalzi wuchin atki. It's getting difficult for us to talk to each other. Maybe because Zoom, or maybe because we're I'm just full of your words. But but this could be other things. Like you could say, my work is getting difficult for me, right? So this jik does lots of things. Sometimes it's literally something that you have, and sometimes this is another way to say like it's getting difficult for me, right? Okay. Sheesh. And
Could that be like, is it just getting difficult to get, or could it even be like getting difficult to like walk, or does that change when you make it?
yeah, so like if you put another verb on there, yeah, you could say it's getting hard for me to walk around. Like that works too, right? So you can but if you attach another verb, that verb is going to want to go into a subordinate form, right? So I might say, you keep calling me for herring eggs. My freezer's getting a little low. It's getting hard to give it to you. Right, but yep. And then that's kenalzi, like it's getting difficult right now. Because you could also say it's hard for me to see that. Difficult for me to see that. Okay.
And you said a subordinated verb.
Yep.
And I'd love an example of.
Yeah. So let's jump over to our notes. Cheese for asking. Let's see. There they are. Okay. So we'll go down and we'll take a verb. So I'll say ade chogut. I went over there. So now you'd say, you might say, Kenelti, Achjich Kenelti Ade Chwagudi. So it's getting hard for me to go there, right? So this, this could, it's all kinds of examples for this. Getting older, going to the berry picking patch. There was, they live in a house, but now everybody smokes cigarettes in the house. I just don't, it's difficult for me to go there. Somebody lived there and they passed away. It's emotionally hard for me to go over there now. And then, Achjich. So here's another one. So you could say, and the way that these things tend to work, so you'd say Yoo ʼatánk. So I am talking. So Achjich Kenelti Yoo ʼatánk. It's getting difficult for me to talk. I got a sore throat. Somebody said immersion time, and I wasn't ready. I've lost my book, whatever the thing is. Feeling shy, right? Feeling overwhelmed, whatever the thing is. And so then you can have these, so you could say, Achjich Kledzi. Now it is difficult for me. Right? It's hard for me to work. Because I'm lazy. But yeah, so it gets an I at the end, and sometimes it's there are times where it will be a U. It'll follow the same rules as the relational suffix. Mm-hmm. And they can be perfective too, right? So you could say Nech uwagut. They came inside. Then you could say Wutlidzi Nech uguti. It was hard for them to come inside. Lots of stairs. They're shy of people. I don't know. It doesn't say why. It just says it's difficult. Good question. It's from Kushtakoish. He was very fun to talk to.
Da'ak tuasigu wegach.
We know the da'a part. Okay, so let me show you some. These are the da'as that I know of. So there's how da'a. There's oops. There's dao da'a. And there's meh da'a. Any predictions on what these are?
Seaweeds?
Seaweed.
Two of them are. Well, I guess one of them is. Technically. One's a kelp, one's a seaweed, one's a something else. How, she, and ʼatánk. How, she, ʼatánk. She, ʼatánk.
Oh, the branches.
Oh, yeah.
How da'a is herring eggs on branches. Dao da'a is herring eggs on kelp. And neh da'a
Is the mossy stuff.
the hairy seaweed.
Yeah, Harry said, yeah. Hmm.
So we gotta. This is the expanded menu in the Tlingit restaurant. ʼáak to us to go. Oh, that's just no. You gotta say how. This is a
I like herring eggs on branches.
yeah. Oh well. And it could be want and it could be like. Both of those are totally correct interpretations. Okay. And kushtakoish was shukach ati. Gotta
I
keep that
know
shukach
it.
ati connection.
I know it. My grandmother's brother.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Disgugli gau daseya dushach.
Sheesh.
Like moose meat.
Yep.
Moose meat, herring eggs. Daseya dushach. I don't know that verb.
So you could also say, or you could just say dasechen. So there is something in here that this dase is sort of a directional thing. So you'll hear it as wush dasechen and dasechen and dase. And this is really interesting to me because it's a really important part of our culture. And then you have what the verb is. Let's go check out the verb real quick.
Is
So
this
we're
where you
already
trade? You trade?
yeah, this is trading. So we have an L classifier with ot, which is it's more complicated than this. It's a carrying verb that usually means personal belongings. But this is also the verb that you use a lot to talk about traditional foods. So I guess you could say they're personal foods. I don't know. Because the loading and carrying something aboard and stuff. But it's also, I don't know if it's really well documented in here. It might be in Lear. I'm not too sure. The A's are a little bit, they're very handwritten in here. I don't know. Nah, I don't want to spend the time looking through that. But, so here, yes, you get, this is dase and ya and sha'at, that kind of thing has to do with trading. So now that we have all the information generally, how are we going to translate this?
You know, trade moose meat for
For herring eggs. People
maybe
trade
you-
moose meat for herring eggs.
Right.
Right. So then you do have the repetitive suffix
If-
or habitual. Happens all the time. This happens all the time. People trade it for moose meat all the time. Okay. Sheesh.
One.
Ah,
Ruth Kanak would say to me, like, I want the the children to stand up. Just a minute. I would like the children to stand up and trade chairs. And she would say, Yitla'a, to trade.
okay.
Yitla'a.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's something about this sla'a verb. And so that would be the command form of this, which maybe there's a different sla'at. You know, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something more to it. So, gonna cheesh. Now, if I wanted you to trade seats as well, I could also say, you could say whoosh to seich. And I think now your plural is going to get really weird. Because I think you would say whoosh to seich yaike. I think that's what you'd say. Because you're already sitting, so you're not going to use qaike. So if you're already sitting, you're going to use yaike, which I don't fully understand. Sort of like niyadenanu is slide over a seat, right? So some of the stuff we get into the weeds pretty thick with this stuff, but it's really interesting. And so that, yeah, that's the command form. That would be the command form of this verb right here. So it's pretty common that T falls off, like when you say, adenaya, y'all go over there. That's ought is the verb root. And cheesh. It's pretty low hanging log right here, so somebody do it.
Watu wa ka. We will eat herring eggs.
Well, not we will.
We ate?
Yeah, well, we ate herring eggs.
Yeah.
Ha to a ha. Oh, whoops, hold on. What am I supposed to do here? Is that how you spell? It's a violation. Minus 10 points. Okay, just kidding.
Sa eki tin awe duka nuch gauk. Oh, we're going to use seal oil. Seal oil with gauk.
Always.
Yeah, people always eat herring eggs with seal oil.
Ah. Yak.
Those of you dipping it in soy sauce, just take note of this slide. ʼáak is also accepted. Okay, I'll get off my ʼutsakuku. Yaidet cha yesu awe eight ka ai adeachat neu. Was hintak adia kanachawe ayeti. Jakote kutzitiko etch. Yisaku ke jinjin katkadech sandik ak kutziti tek tak tu. Yidet satuk.
Ta. Ooh.
Klitze. Cuisine. Wa ashukwa.
Suyeanica?
Oh, cuisine shukwaya yidata katkatze wakak. Jakut order ach tu asaku.
Sorry. Ishi ta'a. Achia.
Oh, okay. ʼáak.
A steak, lek eti, clark eti, weta.
Sheesh. Sky de u.
Dísi Kwan, X'éig Gugank, Tlesh Haji.
Oh, wow. Shanaqait. Kashuk kawadai.
Kayaaní Sándi Kayaaní 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 Sándi Kayaaní Kayaaní. Yeah.
Okay. Kayaaní sa Kayaaní Sándi Kayaaní Kayaaní sa Sándi Kayaaní Kayaaní wait.
Goodness cheese.
Okay. Cheat wo.
You de Yana Hwayne. Would you use that verb there or Yana Hwayne?
It'll probably ʼáak.
ʼáak.
Yanakak.
Yanakak. Can cheese.
Ach ansan.
Team. Oh boy. I keep thinking it's Ucha.
Elias.
Dit was a girl of douche.
Okay. Satuk.
ʼáak waita.
Yelkagu.
Sándi ʼútl chacha.
Okay. Juan Lane.
We late kunach yik Bradfield Canal, Kachchanak Hunt, we Gooseaway Chinook, Gooseaway Heck, we Bradfield Canal.
Yikecha. Kelza take it aya a dot scoutly yet was a yiklicky. Kayatatsu Hunak oe ake hawutian. Ya kagwantan kuikaya yawahi. Yesh na hatsati at away atwanuk. Ya atcha aya hajis shy. Kedenaya has ausei. Ja ach siek dach oe siek kiki siek had gut a shy ja chocha. Had ewo was dasa icha. Had a shy. To I guess go achin yichai a wuchin mutuacha. Ja a shoe away a shy shoe aya. What gout cowed hit aya a waki aya kakwachai. Shaltina dachoe chwachuin. Aka ach seek aya chat chewawus. Das away. Waki. Tawagesiku ichai. Nik a tuye yetiko a te yachyati at tlil ichak. Just dark you tlatuch. Ye awa akayach ye yausane. Kadena wacha kadak you tlatuch awe a toot ai. Kawe yechat yausaka. Goes another one walk. Ekash kasnik aya. Ye inch a kakwanik. Lekak enach. Azara kuik and huna. Oh wait, can anybody tell me that story? Can one retell it?
You were in, I only know part of that you were at that big Kayaaní where they had a ton of salmon heads.
Yes, so they were giving out king salmon heads, and I was eating
Cut
it.
in half, cut in half.
Yeah.
It was just half. It was half of one. And
Your daughter,
yes, my youngest daughter came up to me.
and go ahead, you can tell it.
She wanted the eye, didn't she?
Yeah, so she asked me what I was eating, and I said, it's a king salmon head. Do you want to eat it with me? And she said, yes. So we ate it together. And it came, gout hit so the time came to scoop out the eye, shalteen, with a spoon, which is fun because that verb could be to spoon it out or to shovel. And she asked me, what's that? And she said it in English, what's that? And so I speak Tlingit to them. I said, ʼáak to agesiku. She said, yes. So I said, so I said, there's a little thing like a rock in the middle of it. Don't eat that. Just spit it out. So she did like I said. And then she said to me, Gusu, another one walk. Very cute. Okay, anything before we go?
Wasa, if you talk, if is that how you would say Winter King?
Oh yeah, I probably talk to. I've always heard two. Like two is talk to naati would be like your winter clothes, and so which is interesting. Like because usually the two doesn't go in there for like a time type of a thing. But because it might be just talk Winter King salmon. Might be something worth asking.
This is a very cool activity, Gunalchish.
Yeah, we'll carry through. We're 6 weeks in. It's only however many more to go. I can't count.
For me,
46.
I found that it was hadek knisach ʼáak uchich.
So that's how Raven got the king salmon. He says, listen. The soul rock says you got trashy gills. That's what did it. King salmon got mad and swam up on the shore. So we'll take a look at that story. It's a very fun one. Okay, gonna cheesh. See you folks on Wednesday. There's only 3 classes left. How crazy. Chadi.
Gonna chase the ʼáak.
Ganesh Cheesh.
Ganesh Cheesh.
Yeah,